Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some Ripple versus SEC updates from James K. Fallon, Johnny Deaton, and the digital asset investor. We're also going to be taking a look at this video here with Brad Garlinghouse in it, talking about them buying back their Series C funding, showing confidence, in their upcoming IPO and in their company of Ripple. We're also going to be taking a look at this video from Digital Asset Investor and Digital Perspectives. This is Charles Hawkinson from Cardano. And then getting Johnny Deaton and Digital Asset Investor sentiment on it. And a couple articles from Cointelegraph. One saying One River Spot Bitcoin ETF application rejected by the SEC. And this one here, Brazilian University USP will conduct academic research in the metaverse. Crypto Biz, smart money is betting big on Web3 Layer 2. And then this one here says falling Bitcoin price doesn't affect El Salvador. Quote, now it's time to buy more, reveals Deputy Dania Gonzalez. So coming over here to CoinGecko, we're currently sitting at a 1.24, almost a $1.25 trillion market cap, currently down 2.6% for the day. So obviously over the past couple of days, we've kind of had a little bit of more turmoil in the markets. As you can see, Bitcoin sitting at 28,833, Ethereum sitting at 1751. And then XRP sitting at 38 cents. So let's see if we have any gainers in 24-hour period. Chains up 60%. I don't know anything about that, but that's huge. And then step-ins up 12%, and then small gainers. If we come over here and look at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're currently sitting at 12 still. So this has been our home for some time now. So it's just a matter of time before, things turn, more positive, and we actually start coming back over here to this greed and extreme greed range. But obviously, we've just been ranging in this area for some time now. Coming over here to James K. Fallon's update. One of them here, he's talking about the parties have agreed upon a fee award in connection with the Met supplemental report and deposition, and the SEC is working with Ripple defendants to make the required payment. The amount of the award has not been disclosed. And XRP Crypto Wolf has the same question that I had. It's like, why did Ripple and the SEC waste time on an insignificant petty fee? So this kind of makes me think like, okay, at what point is, and this is just me speculating, at what point is Ripple and the SEC almost like on the same page in regards of like, okay, hey, we know how this thing's going to end. We already have a deal set up. We already have a plan in regards of a settlement or whatever the case is. So, let's just kind of do what we got to do to kind of buy some time so we can roll out, what's to come. That's kind of like where my head's starting to go with certain things. But then you hear like Brad Garlinghouse talk and, other representatives talking. It's like, okay, they're talking as if like they're still being like scrutinized by the SEC, and a lot of the stuff coming out in regards to updates within litigation shows that like, yeah, the SEC is just delay, and just doing everything in their power to just make the lives of Ripple harder. But it's like just small petty stuff like this makes me think like, okay, is there already something on the table, and it's kind of just like, hey, this is kind of our plan and this is how we're going to roll things out. I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know down in the comments. Moving on here, this is another one from James K. Fallon. He says, I think this is Susan Friedman, CFTCs and Caroline defame, and the SEC's Hester Pierce recognized, quote, confusing lack of regulatory clarity over crypto. The jurisdictional battles between the CFTC and the SEC and call for joint public discussion to determine how best to regulate crypto. So he's referring to Caroline's tweet here where she states, cooperation among regulators is essential to pragmatic crypto regulations. We are calling on our agencies to hold a joint set of public roundtables to evaluate recent market events and risks, and to discuss how to regulate crypto responsibly. So now they try to figure it out. Thanks, Jimmy. That's from James Rule XRP. You know what? Just get the right people in the room. Make sure Hester Pierce is obviously in there, but it's like get the right people in the room that know what's going on. Get all the information that you need to set out proper and just regulations that's not going to hinder the innovation and growth of this space. Get it done. Johnny Deaton had put up this tweet here and has this video with Brad Garlinghouse, and they're talking about Ripple will explore IPO after SEC lawsuit ends, and he's talking about why they bought back their Series C funding. He says it's fair to say that it's uncommon for a company to buy back Series C funding. Usually, a growing company will use the capital for acquisitions, growth development, research and development, or simply fortify its balance sheet. Ripple has spent $500 million buying back shares. That is confidence. So we're just going to take a listen into this.
I saw an interesting move you guys did. You bought back your round C shares at a higher valuation than what they were at the moment. What was the rationale behind that?
So we did a Series C financing, I'm going to try to get my dates right here, in 2019, in the Q4 of 2019, and we raised $200 million from a series of investors. When we negotiated that, we had pre-negotiated the ability to repurchase that up to a certain period of time for 1.5x the issuance. So we repurchased all of the Series C back from our investors because we thought it was a good investment. We thought that was accretive to all of our other shareholders. As you mentioned or you asked, we have been profitable and cash flow positive, so we're able to use that. So we've repurchased north of $500 million of Ripple shares over the past couple of years, including that financing.
And you.
So yeah, I mean that's quite interesting. I think it does show confidence. And for those of us that are invested in Ripple or XRP and have been following kind of what's been going on in regards of Ripple and the XRPL and the use case of XRP and just the growth and rate of growth in Ripple with their partnerships. I mean, it's quite evident that this company is literally going full steam ahead, regardless of the shackles that the SEC and the like have been placing on them, hindering that growth. They're still pushing forward. So this isn't a surprise for me personally. Moving over here, this is super interesting. So Digital Perspectives have put this up. It says, it's from Charles Hawkinson, reveals the truth, and it's just as bad as we thought. Don't worry, Charles. They won't pull it off. They're only doing it because they know proof of work isn't necessary. It's all fear-based. So Digital Asset Investor says, hey, Perian, I think, what is this? Perian and Digital Chamber of Commerce, can you give us an update on that brief you were going to file to help Ripple in their SEC fight? So let's take a listen into what Charles has to say here. It's quite interesting.
I really do want to close with one final point. I did discover that certain members of the Bitcoin community are actively telling lawmakers to write into legislation that everything but Bitcoin is a security, to write into legislation every attempt possible to delegitimize or outright ban proof-of-stake cryptocurrencies. This was extremely disappointing and disheartening. I like to believe in the fact that maximalism has gotten to the point where dirty tricks are being played and people are trying to convince politicians now to encode maximalist principles into U.S. law is another example of just the fractious nature and the childish nature and the immature and irresponsible nature of some members of this industry.
Digital Asset Investor talks about it often, and it's like when it comes to being the so-called adults in the crypto room, I mean, you could tell what projects, what leaders or founders are truly the adults in the room. And quite honestly, Charles Hogginson from Cardano trying to do the right thing. Obviously, one of the co-founders of Ethereum here. And then you have, the Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse and Ripple, and obviously the digital asset XRP, like they're trying to do things the right way, work with regulators and try to do things the right way. And it's always been that way, trying to be transparent about things. And that's kind of where this crypto market needs to be headed. And the fact that like this is a reality, which is it's no surprise for us, but the fact that that's a reality, I mean, look at what's happening with, Library and the SEC or Ripple or in the SEC. I mean, it's out there and it's happening. So I'm glad that Charles had put this up. I'm glad, and I want to thank Digital Perspectives for putting this up and Digital Asset Investor, because like this stuff needs to be heard and more people need to be educated on what's going on. Maximalism, it can be very good, but then it can be very dangerous as well. Now, if you love or you think so highly of a certain digital asset that you're in, that's okay. But like to throw shade or throw negative narratives at another project, whether it's a competitor or not, that's not the way to go about this thing. We have to remember that we're all on the same team. It's the crypto market. It's cryptocurrencies. It's the digital assets. It's literally the crypto market, the crypto industry versus the entire world. That's literally how we have to view it. We have to be on the same team and fight for what's right. Fight for the ongoing development, the ongoing growth of this space, because this is the future. Coming over here, Johnny Deaton had something to say. He says, no doubt some BTC Maxis try what Charles Hoskinson discusses. Practically speaking, I doubt Congress will pass much this election year, especially with Roe versus Wade is overturned along with gun proposals. With Congress frozen in action, the Ripple and XRP case becomes more significant. Absolutely. We're talking about, the Ripple versus SC case setting precedent for the entire industry. Absolutely. Moving on here, it's Cointelegraph says One River Spot Bitcoin ETF application rejected by the SEC. And there's been conversations about, it's like, okay, well, Jay Clayton couldn't get an approval on this from the SEC, and they were talking about like, oh no, Gary Gensler's kind of learned his lesson type thing. So they're saying the proposed environmentally conscious spot ETF was found to be insufficiently protected against fraud and manipulation like many ETF proposals before it. There's a quote out here that says, quote, disapproval of this proposed rule charge does not rest on an evaluation of whether Bitcoin or blockchain technology more generally has utility or value as an innovation or an investment. So we've been talking about when are we going to get a spot Bitcoin ETF? And there's been a lot of conversations about Grayscale potentially going to be the one to actually get it, to get the first spot Bitcoin ETF. So in due time, we've been waiting for some time. I'm not going to hold my breath. When it happens, I'll be excited. But until then, I will just keep covering kind of all these rejections and denials from the SEC. Johnny Dean has something to say. He says, even Clayton couldn't get One River a pass from Gary Gensler. And then XRP Plumber says, it's payback for Clayton leaving all this crap on Gary's doorstep. And then Tim says, Gary opened his front door and brought the crap inside to smell it. He's complicit in with this. Hashtag Jay Clayton. Moving on here, this is what I think is probably extremely important, education. And when I say education, I mean just people educating themselves on everything that this space, the cryptocurrency space or digital asset space, however you want to say it, and even all the sectors. So I'm talking NFT, DeFi, layer 1, layer 2s, gaming, all that stuff. Everything that crypto has to offer, I think people need to truly educate themselves on, how to self-custody, different wallets, how to utilize different exchanges, CeFi versus DeFi, what is the metaverse, what are NFTs, how to utilize NFTs, what are the benefits, like educating themselves, because as you become more educated, you become more comfortable with, what this space has to offer. And as people become more comfortable with it, especially once, regulatory clarity hits the market, that's just going to bring literally a truckload, a tsunami wave worth of capital and people jumping into the space. So this is extremely crucial, I think. It says Brazilian University USP will conduct academic research in the metaverse. So we know that the metaverse has been like a huge buzzword over the past year, and obviously NFTs have been blowing up. But this is just a specific sector that's been blowing up within the space, but it just draws more eyes to the overall crypto market, which is positive. It says the university wants to explore important research questions around psychology, human behavior, and augmented reality inside the metaverse. So I don't need to go down here and read all this stuff. The whole thing is it's just education. I think is extremely important. And as you know, you have major companies and corporations already setting their trademarks, already jumping into the metaverse, already jumping into NFTs because they see the writing on the wall. There's a lot of money to be made, and there's a lot of interest within this specific sector within the crypto space. This is quite interesting from Cointelegraph as well. It says, Crypto Biz, smart money is betting big on Web3 Layer 2. So that's literally what I was just talking about. I mean, you have Andreessen Horowitz, or A16Z, closes a $4.5 billion crypto fund amid market turmoil. You have Starkware nets $100 million. That's investors bank on Layer 2 success. Google seeking, fresh talent to lead global Web3 team. So they're all trying to, get in front of this thing. Sam Bankman-Fried could spend up to $1 billion in 2024 to thwart Trump comeback. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff going on, and it's no secret. We've been seeing it. If you've been following this channel, you've been made well aware of it. In this last article here, it says falling Bitcoin prices does not affect El Salvador. Quote: now it's time to buy more, reveals Deputy Dania Gonzalez. An exclusive interview with Cointelegraph, policymaker from El Salvador reveals how Bitcoin has been helping the country change people's lives. So this is extremely positive to hear. And we all know El Salvador has been one of the front runner countries in regards of making Bitcoin legal tender, and it's just been a domino effect ever since. So now it's just a matter of time as more and more countries start making Bitcoin and digital assets legal tender. I just wanted to come down here. There was something I wanted to see. Forgot where I wanted to see it. Long story short, though, this is just extremely positive. Regardless of if we come over here, regardless of us being in this extreme fear range, regardless of we're under $1.3 trillion market cap, and we've been seeing a lot of red in the market. There's still adoption happening. There's still growth happening. And you can look at the on-chain analytics or on-chain data and see that still when it comes to the e-liquid supply or the people purchasing Bitcoin on exchanges and taking it off exchanges and storing in cold storage, that's still high. There's still a lot of positives in regards of the rate of growth and the rate of adoption happening. We're just in this phase of just downtrend, what is it? The opposite of euphoria, just extreme fear. And it's just a reality of the market. If you're new in this market, this is what crypto is. I mean, we have a very short window of, extreme euphoria and mass, X's and all these different gains and all this positivity, but we have longer periods of, downtrend and scary moments, especially being in a new and emerging, market and technology. So with all that, man, you just understand that it's happening. The domino tiles have already started falling. Okay, it's just going to pick up more momentum as we go on, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. We are so early in this thing. We're sitting at under a $1.3 trillion market cap. Okay. If you haven't already, make sure you come to the Crypto is Key YouTube channel and subscribe. Make sure that you follow us on Crypto is Key 1 on Twitter as well. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.